For some of us who've been around for some time, it looks like we're retelling the story. Why are we seeing this resurgence of violence in Darfur particularly?
It's interesting that you ask that question, simply because it's work that I've done about 20 years ago, in 2004, 2003, trying to put a face on what was happening in Darfur at that time, and that now, how many years down the road, 20 years down the road, we are getting the same thing. It's I think, a fracture of lack of governance that has persisted in that particular area, and wealth control, because I think there's quite a lot of wealth and minerals in that particular part, and the contestation between the different tribes, so to say, who have not been able to live side by side, has become the biggest contention that even we are currently facing in Khartoum and in Darfur.
You know, in the past we used to associate the perpetrators of the violence there with the Janja weed, yes. And now people are hearing about this
RSF.
RSF.
Yes. So RSF is a more armed Janja weed. The head of RSF, Hameti, was himself the head of the Janjaweed during the genocide that happened in Darfur. And he has rearmed himself because he has gotten quite a lot of wealth. He has a lot of money. They deal in gold. They have this financing that has made RSF metamorphose from a Janjaweed into a rebel group that is putting quite a lot of pressure on the Sudanese army.
Now, just today, actually, RSF announced that it may announce, more like it will split the country. It will announce authority over certain regions of Sudan.
Yes.
Do we see a danger here?
Yes, absolutely. The moment you have institutions or rebel groups, or even them starting to declare certain parts of the country to be their territory and they are going to own them, then the contestation in terms of the management of the country becomes very complicated. And to that nature, it means that then the fighting is going to be even deeper than it has been since April 15, when each country, the central government will want to be able to manage that particular area which has been taken over by the rebels. But the rebels also are saying, if we take over this particular territory, it means that we are in control, which is a very dangerous thing for a country that everybody would want to be united like Sudan.
You know, there's some of those who saw the overthrow of Omar al-Bashir as salvation to the people of Sudan. And at that time, we saw the violence in Darfur. But of course, certainly now up to Khartoum, in fact,
yes.
The country is in war.
Yes.
What went wrong?
Like I said, it's a question of administrative fractures that they have had. I think one of the best countries that we would have been proud of was Sudan. Sudan has had a very good history. Sudan was possibly one of the few countries that were first got independence on the African continent in 1956. Sudan has some of the most cultured and well-intentioned people.
So could somebody say that the military, after overthrowing Bashir, overthrew the civilians again?
But you see, that's where the problem is. The overthrow of Bashir was necessarily, even itself, it had its own problems. Yeah. Remember that there has been an indictment by the International Criminal Court for people who committed crimes, war crimes and crimes against in Darfur, and none of them was ever taken to the International Criminal Court. They're still at large.
Yes.
So the perpetuation of committal of crimes has become a common denominator in the body public of Sudan. And to that extent, even whether you overthrow Omar Bashir, whether you overthrow Hameti, whether the moment the structure of the management of that country is not put into control and managed very well, there's nothing that is going to bring peace in that country at this moment.
Yeah, so it is a structural issue there.
It's a structural issue.
All right. And any hope of a return to civilian
rule? There has been quite a lot of Sudanese who have been agitating to be able, committees that are agitating for them to be included. Actually, a few meetings that we have had is that they have said they don't want the two military individuals to be involved in the next government. And I think there are moments which are brewing up that is going to bring about a semblance of people, civilians, recapturing the state and making sure that the military is not involved in the management of the country.